Sure. Hello all, welcome to Robinsive Training. It's a continued video for the course Advanced Network Exploitation Expert. Myself Rikun Sindwad and I will be your instructor for this entire course. I hold over 5 years of experience in cybersecurity. I'm a red teamer at work. I also do security researcher and hold multiple CVs. Couple of articles are published over Pen Test Magazine, OSCP, OSW and OSCP certified from Offensive Security. The course Advanced Network Exploitation Expert helps you to build core knowledge against network security and penetration testing. The course is for everyone who has basic understanding in cybersecurity, clear their basics of networking, basics of their penetration testing, or I can say anyone with the knowledge of CEH. Post completion of the course, you will able to gain core concept understanding over various topics, perform internal or external penetration testing, perform extensive network assessment, find security misconfiguration within Active Directory environment, able to do privilege escalation over Windows and Linux machines, write automation scripts, and many more to go. Please read the description before moving ahead with the course content. So we have complete many of the topics and map, enumerate all the things, and we are somewhere with the Metasploit all the things, in which we have done with some basic concepts, venom concepts like how shell code structure and how we can create a Trojan. We are done with the auxiliaries, we are done with the exploits and understanding how we can utilize exploit, and we are somewhere with the post modules, in which we are done with the case one, proxy pivoting, where how you can utilize your victim or compromised machine in order to move literally towards the different machine that are connected to the victim local area network or different interface, right? So the second case here is to maintain access over the machine where you already have like administrative access, right? So let's say you did privilege escalation using one of the exploit and you managed to get privileged access. How you can maintain access on that particular machine for a long, and maintaining privileged access is what I mean, not just a local but privilege. There could be a number of ways, of course, but this will be just like utilizing post modules in order to do various activity. Again, we are more focused to the Metasploit and all the different components and utilization. We are not moving towards particular vulnerability or the same, right? So yeah, what is the case is like when a privilege access is acquired or compromised, it is very easy to access over victim machine, maintain access over victim machine in a various way. But this time we'll be utilizing hash dump or dumping all the credential storage and utilizing those credential with the different services like SMB, RDP or WinRM, right? We will not going to go with the utilization of those hashes through the particular services, but we will utilize all the different post modules that are required to achieve the same. And the first and foremost is the hash dump. Let's navigate back to our Linux console or Metasploit console. So what the assumption is, we already have access to particular user with the higher privilege, and when you have the higher privilege, you will gonna have all the different privileges over the particular Metasploit session. You can just type get priv to list down all the different privileges. Get UID to get your user ID, of course, and you can always type get system to get the highest privileges that your system will gonna have, right? If I just type get system and if I just go back to get UID, I will be now anti-authority system. Now I'm impersonating that particular machine, not a particular user. Now I'm impersonating a particular machine. So anything I'll execute, that will gonna be considered through anti-authority system or that particular machine, right? So I'll just quickly hit Control Z to background this current session and move ahead with the particular hash dump post module. So what I'm gonna do, I'll search for post module for Windows that does hash dump. What is hash dump? So basically in Windows environment, all the credential that you use to log in, that is being stored in a separate location in a hash format, which is NTLM. Now those hashes can be dumped using different post modules. So this is the one that dumps the login hash, of course, and there are some other hash dumps as well. Some are for the MS SQL, some are for the domain, but this is just a standalone machine. So I'll go with this particular third module. So use 3, I'll check for all the different sessions, and I will be using the privileged one. Make sure that when you do execute any hash dump activity, try to be anti-system instead of being any administrative user or privileged user as well, right? It will gonna fail with the standard user, but any service user or system user, it should work perfectly fine. So I'll just gonna look for the different options, and it just require one single option. Let's provide the required details. Set session, the session ID, of course, which is 2, the privileged one. And let's execute the same. Perfect. It did manage to get 3 different hashes. One is for administrator account, second one is guest, and the third one is Rob. That's perfect. Rob is member of administrator group, and there is administrator as well. We can always toggle this local administrator account. By default, it is usually in a disabled state. So we can always toggle back in order to utilize the highest privilege or more than at least the Rob user might have over different services. So that is a part that is not something we're gonna go with. Second, here it's like a ID for the particular user. By default, administrator will gonna have this 500 and the guest 501. This is what all the different user will gonna allocate it, like 1001, 1002 and all. The third here is something like I can say a random value for all the user. What it is, we'll gonna of course talk in detail, but this is not the right time to understand. So what you understand for now is it's a random value that is same for every user. And the last block is what our NTLM hash. So if you copy it and if you go with any of the online website to try to just crack it, it should work, right? So this last block is what your NTLM hash is. That's being said, now I can say like I have all the required data for authentication. Now I just have to utilize one of their service. So I'll just keep this in my note. Come on. No, I don't really. Perfect. Now I have to utilize this particular with the different services. So what I'm gonna do, I'll just move back to my session and will utilize netstat, that is the meterpreter commandlet, that will going to list all the different running service, not the services, ports, listening ports, right? So here if I see there is 445, means that I can use SMB in order to perform like execution, command execution, and it is possible if you navigate to my enumerate all the things, and if you just click on SMB, you're going to find that exploitation as well as for RDP. So when you have this uh, service running, you can utilize this particular section in order to exploit it or move it further, right? So let's see if RDP is enabled. SMB, yes, we can use SMB and do PS exec or SMB exec in order to execute something. But with RDP, well, there is no RDP enabled at all. The RDP port is 3389, right? And there is no RDP enable at all. What we're gonna do? We have to enable RDP as well. And how we're gonna do this? Of course, there is another post module for that. So what I'm gonna do? Search for enable underscore RDP, and here we go. Perfect. So I'll just use this particular exploit see all the options. It just requires a particular session, which is of course the privileged one. So set session and session value. Perfect. All the options are configured. I'll just have to run it. Perfect. It has been enabled. The next thing I'm gonna verify whether this particular RDP is enabled or not by just navigating to this particular session, and let's start. Now if I see there is another port that is enabled or on a listen state, which is 3389. If I scroll up, there is no 3389, which proves that yes, RDP service is running. There could be other ways as well to achieve the same, but that we will talk later once there is a right time for the same. Okay, so yeah, this is the one way to identify and utilize post modules to do different activity, and we are more focused with the metasploit and not the vulnerability at current time. So what the next thing we will going to do is, it's simple, right? When you have this hash and you have like administrator or user NTLM hash, you can use pth-win-exe. I recommend to go back and watch this particular video or blog in order to understand in detail. So you can provide your NTLM hash. It's the same that what we see here. Of course, the values could be different, but the structure is same, right? So here we can just pass all the different required arguments and CMD. CMD is what the program you want to execute, and it will give you the shell. You will be able to execute commands through RDP as well. Similar for WinRM. So if I click on WinRM, if I scroll down, I'm not sure I have specified any hash or example with the hash, of course. But if you do have hash, WinRM offers one argument. So let me show you that as well. Evil-WinRM is a tool, and that does allows you to provide hash. Here we go, NT hash. You can supply your net NTLM hash, and that should be enough. So yeah, that is it. That is all. Hope you liked the concept. Hope you liked the way, and hope you understood how what are the things or what are the uh, things you can do through this post modules from Metasploit framework. And yes, after once you have the access, you can do various activities, and those activities can be achieved through post modules. Remember. So that's it. That's all. If you have any queries, questions, just comment below. And yeah, hope you subscribed already. That's it. That's all. See you next time.